this is the Provoked Prawn, and this is the Rode X XDM100. This is a professional dynamic USB microphone designed for streamers and content creators, which delivers fantastic sound thanks to a built-in Revolution preamp, internal DSP with Aphex voice processing, and a whole load of other highlights, including a shock mount, pop filter, and other things in the box, as well as access to Rode Unify software. That software may well be one of the most interesting things about this, because it gives you the ability to mix a mass of virtual and hardware channels into a single output for your streams. You can also use it to customize the audio over the microphone. You can see, for example, if we go here, you can click on this and then you've got access to various different things, including noise gate, compressor, aural exciter, and big bottom. So obviously help to eliminate a lot of background noise and just to make the mic sound a lot richer. And you can tweak all of these individually according to your own needs. But out of the box, this is how it sounds with sort of default settings. All I've done is just increase the gain a little bit, so that shows you how powerful it is. And you'll notice that I'm actually recording the voiceover directly in Unify right now so that you can see that in action. I'm going to go into this in a lot more depth later on in the video, because this is really interesting and powerful and highly flexible, and also has some interesting highlights for setting it up in Windows that are worth knowing. So I'm going to show you that as well. And I want to compare it with the USB plug and play connectivity, just so you can see that. But first, let's talk about the features of the Rode XDM100. Out of the box, I found this to be a magnificent looking microphone. You can see that it has its own shock mount, which is obviously a nice addition, internal pop filter, and an external one, which doubles as a windshield of sorts. And then you obviously have a number of other things too, including an extension lead for a 3.5mm connection. So you've got hardware monitoring via your own headphones. Now, when I got out of the box, I was immediately struck by the weightiness of it and the heft, the build quality. If you put it next to another microphone from Rode, the NT1, which is the 5th generation version, that's an XLR mic, which also has USB-C connectivity, whereas the XDM100 is just USB. But that means that this is comparable in terms of quality. The sound of this microphone is very comparable with the NT1, which I've done a video on separately. I'd recommend checking that out. But for a bit more convenience, the XDM100 makes it really straightforward, because obviously you have that USB connectivity set up, and then you have all the virtual processing that you'll see in Unify in a little bit, as well as some just convenient hardware level things included. So obviously the shock mount is a nice addition here, so you don't have to pay extra for that. And then you've got a really rich sounding microphone and a good quality one. This is a dynamic microphone, so it's meant to be giving you that broadcast quality sound that you're hearing now, which is very comparable to my usual mic, to be fair. And you also have a certain amount of noise rejection, which I actually put to the test by taking this microphone outside later on. So I want to show you what that was like as well, so stick around for that. Well, you can see that it's a nice looking microphone, unfortunately perhaps ruined by the external pop filter, but obviously that will improve the sound quality if you've got a lot of plosives in your voice. It uses a USB-C connection on both ends, and you can use it plug and play without the software. So I will say that it is worth noting that you can plug it into a laptop and just start recording directly with the microphone, or you can even use it on your phone, which is something that I've done as well. So you can plug that in and then use that as hardware. There's an extension cable for your 3.5mm connection. You can plug your headphones directly in, or you can use this extra lead to plug your headphones in so you can mic monitor with zero latency over that as well. And I've even done this with a wireless headphone setup, so it is possible to do that and still get good sound and monitor it externally. There's a volume wheel on the microphone itself, which if you push in will mute it as well. So a lot of basic things at a hardware level which make it really functional. Now you talk into the top of this microphone, just bear that in mind. If you do get it, you need to make sure you're talking into the right place so that you can then get the best sound. And also, being a dynamic microphone, you do need to get it close to your mouth. And obviously there's no mic stand or anything included in the box, but it will work with Rode's PSA 1 Plus and other boom arms as well. The setup process for that is really easy. Obviously the shock mount just attaches to the boom arm, and then you need to work out how to get it in a position where you'll be able to talk into it nicely so you can make the most of that sound. Get it close to your mouth. Turn the gain down a little bit as standard to drop out some of that external noise. Obviously, if you're using Unify, you can use the noise gate settings, but I found if you just tweak the gain a little bit, otherwise it will pick up a lot. If you put the gain up too high in Windows, it will pick up a lot of background noise, as any microphone will. So before I go into what you can do with Unify, I wanted to show the plug and play sound settings. So this, as you can see from the Windows sound settings here, is what the microphone sounds like with just the mic plugged in with USB-C cable, and that's set as the default setup there. And people will say that I make every mic sound really good, and so I thought it'd be worth, one, showing that, and two, also taking it outside. So here I am outside in the real world testing the Rode microphone out. It's a really windy day today, which is ideal because I wanted to be able to test what the wind rejection's like. I'm actually using the mic plugged into my phone right now, which is one of the things you can do with it. And although you're unlikely to take it outside, I figured this would be a good test of how good the sound was in this sort of environment. Obviously it's got a windshield on it, but that's not really the intention of this. It's more to block out those plosives in a nicer recording environment. But how's it sound? And now just doing it without the windshield as well, so you can hear what their capture quality is like without that protection in a windy environment. Now I want to show you what you can do with Rode Unify software, because it really opens up a lot more flexibility with the microphone and what you can do with it. Once you've downloaded the software, you'll see there are loads of different virtual outputs and inputs in here. I've got the headphones and microphone set up. That's what the standard settings would be. But what you need to do instead is select system output and stream input. The idea here is that you can then use Unify to mix the virtual sources down into a single output, which I'll show you. But what you can also do is then go into the settings and tweak various different things. So go here first of all and go into channel assignments. You'll notice the Rode XDM100 isn't actually shown in the list. So if you found that you've got the microphone and it's not working properly, this is why. You need to go into the settings and then you need to drag that in so it becomes a source. Once you've done that, you should then be able to use it. You can see that there's a load of other things, including chat, music, game, virtual, and you can add in extra virtual sound sources like a browser, so you could pull in YouTube sounds or something else from a browser, for example. The reason this is interesting is because of the way that then pulls it in. Now you can see the mic is pulled in here. So quickly, you click on the microphone and then you can go through the various settings in here. So for example, as standard, you can see these are the basic ones and they're just turned on, and then you can go into advanced and click through and change various settings in there. You'll notice if I turn noise gate off that it's now picking up background noise in terms of fan noise. And if you add more gain, you'll hear that even more. This is definitely something you can experience with the microphone as well if you're using it in USB-C mode and then not using Unify. So I'd recommend doing that and maybe knocking the volume down in Windows if you do want to use it in the USB mode. So we can do this and set that up like that, but you've got to make sure essentially that that's in there. And this is what we're hearing as the stream mix. So this is all of these things mixed down into one. So what I mean by that is you can have chat audio from Discord, music audio from Spotify, for example, game audio from your games, and then virtual sources and browser. So you could have YouTube or some other thing playing from there. You also have sound effects built into the software as well that you can obviously choose where to send those. And all this comes out as a single audio source. So I want to quickly show you that setup as well. So I've got Streamlabs as an example in here. Obviously the same logic would apply in OBS. I just wanted to show you the sound settings in here. So you click on here and then you go into your audio settings. And then what you need to do then is essentially just to select one device, which would be your stream input. So this is what then comes out as the stream. So we then have a single stream mix. So rather than having multiple different sources in your mixer, you've got one source which takes everything into it. And then that allows you to customize the levels within Unify. So that's a really simple setup in Streamlabs or in OBS. So then what you need to do is to basically assign things to each of these. So there's a system in here where you have Open System Mixer, which basically takes you into the sound settings automatically and then goes to App and Volume Mix, which is how you can find that alternatively. But again, if you want to get to access to that quickly, you see if I shut this down and then I go Open System Mixer, it just opens that directly. Now this is useful because what you want to do is to go into your different sound sources. So let's say Spotify music, as default is just set to default. What you want to do is to set it to the music output. Then when I play music from here, so let's just play this. I play in Stream Beats now, and it will get pulled into the music source on here. And you can see if I raise that up, then it will increase the volume of that. And what you can do is you can also adjust it separately. You can see that in the headphones, we're hearing it louder than you are on the stream. So there's actually two different audio levels. This is useful because it means that you can have, say, music playing for yourself, but not for the stream, because you could mute it completely for the stream. You can link and you can adjust the volume separately. You can go into the stream. You could maybe have music playing for the stream and then not for yourself. So you have the option to go between those and set them up. You can also set different levels for different things. So for example, you can choose what sounds chat's going to hear. So usually with chat, what you would be doing is setting up Discord to have the input and output. So what we do is we get Discord, you go voice and video, and then you select your input is chat input, and then you look for output as chat output. Notice there's Rode Unify marked on both of these. Then what happens is when you're in a chat with people on Discord, that audio will get pulled into there, and then obviously you can adjust the levels again, so you can tweak so that people can hear the chat sounds. So if you're streaming and you want people to hear your friends, you can do that. And you can also adjust the gain levels on there as well, so you can tweak that. And obviously you can also adjust the levels of what's being heard, and either in your headphones. So if you want to hear your friends louder than the stream does, you can do that, or vice versa. So you can tweak each of these individually. And then you do the same logic with games as well. So if we launch Starfield as an example, it's worth noting that you have to do this for each of the individual things, each of the individual sources. So when we get Starfield launched, you'll see in here in the stream section, what you need to do is go to the game section and then set that as the game output. And then there will be audio coming through from the game. Although when you alt tab out, you don't see it, but it will then appear in here under the game sounds. And then again, you can adjust the levels. So you could actually have the game sound lower on the stream than it is for you. And so it's clearer for your mic to be heard than anything else. So you can customize a lot of different things in here and choose your different channels that you're putting in. So plenty of flexibility in terms of the routing, and then it all comes out as a single source in Streamlabs. The other thing you can do is recording. So you can just click on this button to start a recording, and then when you finish, you can go in here into the recording section, and you can just export the recordings. You can choose what you want. So if you're doing a voiceover for a video, you just click on the record button, record your voiceover, and then export it. You can also go into the recording section and select what you want to get captured in there. So you can choose different things. You can see, for example, for some reason it's got the browser selected in there, but maybe we just want the microphone, so you can set it so it just has the microphone, or perhaps you do want to record game audio. So you have loads of different choices in how you're doing things and what you're setting up, and plenty of customization options. So you can see just what's possible with the Rode X XDM100. It's a fantastic microphone. It's really flexible and highly customizable for streamers and content creators. It may seem a bit intimidating when you first download Unify, but Rode has a bunch of guides that I'll link to in the description that will help you set it up. Hopefully I've given you some insight in what you can do there. The only downsides I have noticed is occasionally there's a bit of a pop on the microphone. Hopefully that will get fixed with the firmware update. But otherwise, it's a very versatile microphone, and it's really rich sounding too. Well worth considering This has been the Provoked Prawn. Hope you found this video useful. Subscribe if you haven't already for more. Thanks for watching.
You've made it right to the end of the video, you brilliant legend you. If you've enjoyed it, click that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and drop me a comment down below if you've got any questions. If you really enjoyed it, consider joining the channel and see the benefits of doing so. Check out these other videos. You might well find them interesting or useful. And most importantly, have a great life.